Hey guys, my name is Nicolette Mashile. I am also known as the Financial Bunny. Welcome to the Financial Bunny TV. Today will be a quick one, but remember that none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please speak to somebody who is certified and registered with the FSCA to be able to give you financial advice. So let's talk a little bit about investing, right? I've actually just finished a session with one of my clients, and one of the things that I realized that a lot of us don't understand about goal setting is that you are essentially giving your money an assignment, right? So I spoke a little bit about another video that there are 3 types of assignments that you essentially send your money on to do, right? And the first one is to preserve the value of your money. The second one is to get an appreciation of your money through assets. And the third one is ultimately to get an income from where you send your money. But those are actually just KPIs. They are not necessarily the assignments where you put your money. The goals that you actually have, those are your real assignments. And let me explain a little bit better. When I was working in advertising, I was working in a small business, and the first thing when I got to my job, I remember in 2013, I asked for a KPI, a list of KPIs that I was going to be judged on. So I was coming in as an account executive, and the next level for if you're working in an advertising agency, you'd move from an account executive, you'd move to account manager, you'd then move to either client services director or account director. Again, depends on the stream that you are following, right? So I was in the client services space, so I came in as an account executive, and my next step would have been client services manager and then client services director. And I remember saying to my boss after, I think, 2 years of working there, I said, I don't have, a job spec. I don't have a job description. So I don't really know what it is that I'm working towards, which then means that I don't know when to prompt my actual promotion in this business because you guys have not given me something to work towards. And I remember watching something at that time on YouTube, and it said if you want to get a promotion, you've got to do the KPIs of the job that you are looking for. It's that idea of dress for the job that you don't have. So what I then did is I went onto Google and I downloaded client services manager's job description. And I remember sitting in the office with my boss and saying, I already do this, I already do that, I already do this, I already do that on the client services manager's job description KPIs, because I was explaining to him that I actually deserved the promotion. And he was actually happy to give me that promotion. So the most important thing to remember is that when you put together a list of KPIs, it is easy for you to be able to evaluate what it is that you are doing that speaks to the assignment that you've got. So a lot of us, and this relates to money, because a lot of us, whenever I meet people that are doing, that want to do financial coaching with me, one of the first things that I would ask them is, where are you putting your money? What are you doing with your money? Where are you investing? And then they'll say, no, I've got this and this with Old Mutual, or I've got this and this and this with Alan Gray, or I've got this and this fund with Liberty, or I've got this and this fund with, and then I would say, okay, what are you invested in? What is it that you want that money to actually do? And ultimately what you are doing is you are actually outlining the assignment for that money. So if there's anything that you're going to be doing today, I would like you to sit down and write down all the list of places where you are investing. Whether it is, I've got 50,000 Rand in a Capitec savings account, I contribute 3,000 Rand every single month to a TFSA. I contribute 300 Rand to a unit trust that is held. I want you to write down a list of all those things where you are putting your money away, and then attach what is called an assignment. So for instance, with the lady that I was working with today, she's got 2 kids. One kid is 8 years old and the other kid is a year old. So I said to her, where you're going to be putting your money away, let's talk about the assignment of your children's education. Now the 8-year-old, education in 10 years time. The 1-year-old, education in 17 years time. Now you've got to then, after you've done that, education for my children is simply the assignment. It's the mandate that you are giving to your money. Now the question is, what are the KPIs that you are going to then evaluate whether or not the investment that you've chosen for the assignment is actually performing? So what you then do you got to then put a list of KPIs so that after 12 months, you've got to look at them and say, okay, we are still on track in terms of getting this assignment executed in the 10 years or in the 17 years that we've got. So for instance, if you want to say, I want to own my own property in 10 years time, yes, you've got a bond, you are paying a bond, or somebody else is paying your bond for you because you're renting out your property. But for you to be able to actually derive an income from that, let me take it a couple of steps back, because a lot of people say to me, yeah, I've got a property, I'm paying a bond on it, but I'm not making any money. So it's just really covering the bond. Don't despair, because yes, you are starting off with an investment where you are ultimately now just preserving the value of your money. So you are paying into it, you're paying the bond. Then you want to move to a part where it now starts to appreciate. After appreciation, you want the property to give you an income. Now, for you to get to the income as quickly as possible, you've got to make sure that the property is paid off. How do you make sure the property is paid off? You've got to pay additional amounts of money into your bond. So while your tenant is paying your rent, you've got to also put in additional amounts of money. But we've got to make provision for those additional amounts of money in your budget today, because the decisions that you make today will ultimately tell you whether or not you are actually going to get the assignment executed. Because the assignment is, I want a fully paid up property that gives me an income in the next 10 years. However, right now, I have access to a bonded property. I have access to paying a bond. But if I want to accelerate getting that 10 years of that bond, that property that gives me an income, then I've got to make sure that I am doing something today. So the KPIs are, I've got to make sure that I've got 1,000 Rand extra to pay into my bond every single month. And that's ultimately what goal setting is. That's ultimately you giving your money a mandate. You are saying to your money, Ngiyathuma, I'm sending you. This is the assignment. These are my KPIs. And then you've got to ask yourself, these investments that I'm choosing, these different investments that I'm choosing, whether it's a unit trust, an ETF, it is a bond, buying bonds, it is buying shares, it's buying property, it's putting my money into a money market, or I'm putting it into a Sector Top 40. Are these the right things that I need to be using to be able to get this assignment that I need? And do these things, their performance, does it actually check out on my KPIs? Very, very important that I always tell people, you've got to sit down and do this exercise of goal setting, because goal setting basically is exactly what I wanted from my boss when I walked into that job, because I know the next step. The next step is me becoming a client services manager. However, because there are no KPIs, it's difficult for me to know whether I'm on track or not. That's why it's difficult for many people when I ask them, what investments are you actually investing in? What exactly is this fund investing in, and will it give you what you actually desire at the end of the day? If you do not want to be disappointed by the investments where you are allocating money in every single month, you've got to sit down and create a KPI list for all your investments. But most importantly, you need to have a mandate for that money. You need to have an assignment that is going to be attached to that money. So stop investing for the sake of investing. Invest with an assignment at the back of your mind. I look forward to having more conversations with you guys around investing. So do tune in into the next one. I'll see you then. Mwah.